Why are the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl contenders? Well, they have Patrick Mahomes and you don't. And for the Chiefs for the last 2-3 years, that has been simple enough. And Patrick Mahomes continues to add things to his game that make him essentially unstoppable in the modern NFL. Joining me now from Locked On Chiefs, Chris Clark. And Chris, I know that it does seem that simple, right? But defense, offensive line, these things have come up the last few years and kept the Chiefs from being 3-time defending champions, which is honestly what they could be, and they're not that far from being that. So what is that tweak that they need to make in 2021 that allows them to get back to what they were the year before?
Well, I think the biggest tweak was changing the offensive line, and they did that in the offseason completely. So I think that they're in great shape in that regard. Depending on where you look, I've seen them ranked somewhere in the top 10 of the offensive lines in the NFL, and I think that may be optimistic. I do think that they're going to be a good offensive line, but it looks like they're going to start 3 rookies basically on the from center over to right tackle. So while I do think that all 3 of those guys will play well, it's going to be a work in progress, and none of them have played together before. So chemistry does matter. Talent level, I could see them being the number 9, which is what I just saw a little bit ago. But I wonder if they're going to play up to that, especially early in the season when they haven't had a chance to play together and actually get that chemistry together so far.
And the left tackle is new as well. So it is basically an entirely new offensive line this year for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think there are also going to be questions about this defense. They have a couple blue chip players. Chris Jones, Tyrann Mathieu are high level players. But what about that secondary, Chris? Can that be good enough to get enough stops in an AFC that you have to beat Josh Allen and that high-flying Bills offense? You might have to beat Justin Herbert. Who knows? I mean, there are definitely some offenses that they're going to have to reckon with if they want to win the Super Bowl.
No, and they definitely will have some offenses to reckon with, but I think the bigger thing that needs to be remembered, and you said this to start, is that they're going to have Patrick Mahomes, and even if the defense gives up 30, it's not like Kansas City is generally going to be kept under 30 points. Now, obviously, the Tampa Bay Super Bowl was a whole nother ball game. I mean, you're down to your 3rd or 4th string left tackle, and your 3rd or 4th string right tackle, and 2nd or 3rd string left guard and right guard, and I mean, it's just everybody was everywhere else except for where they would normally play. And so I think that that's a big thing. But when you start looking at the defense, I'm glad you bring it up, because Chris Jones is now going to play defensive end mostly, I think, which is a surprise to me. If you would have told me that 6 months ago, I would have told you you're crazy. But it does look like he's going to play a ton of defensive end. It does look like he'll get some defensive tackle snaps, but with him playing defensive end, that gives him somebody that can be across from Frank Clark if Frank Clark is healthy enough to play, which that's a question mark right now because he has a hamstring injury. But if he's able to play, that gives them a bookend with Frank Clark, and I think that'll put them in a good situation. Plus, Jerron Reed is going to be able to push the pocket in the middle, which is not going to allow a lot of time for QBs to survey the field and throw the ball. Now, when you bring up the corners, the question is can their young guys step up and continue to contribute where they were last year? Snead had a fantastic year when he was healthy. If he stays healthy this entire season, I do think that he is going to be a guy that you could look at and maybe get a Pro Bowl nod at the end of the year. I think he has enough talent to do that. And obviously that's a name brand type thing that's, fans vote for that. So we'll have to see if he gets to that type of level. But Ward's played well enough. I think that they're going to be okay there. But again, really to me, what this comes down to is Kansas City's defense good enough to keep the other team most of the time under 20, 25 points? I think so. Now, they don't have to keep them under 15, which is what you would normally like.